As Stan Lee struck a chord putting Spider-Man right in the middle of choosing between Aunt May's life-saving medicine or a bus full of children hanging off a cliff, so too have video games put us through some insane moral choices in the name of entertainment. Now, we've covered a lot of this subject matter before, so I'm omitting the most obvious big hitters. There'll be no Spec Ops: The Line's white phosphorus scene here. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are the 7 most harrowing decisions we made to progress in video games. Number 7. Killing your real-world partner. Splinter Cell Conviction. This one might have slipped you by had you only primarily played the Splinter Cell series for its single-player content. However, in what was a genius Streets of Rage-esque maneuver, after you and a friend / loved one / random from the internet have spent many hours enjoying each other's company, boosting off each other to reach ledges and syncing up headshots, in the final level you were suddenly required to take each other down instead. It's a great reversal of expectation that just happens in the moment, forcing you to take all the skills you'd been using in tandem and pit them against each other. There could only be one winner, and although there was nowhere near as much narrative structure supporting this particular scene as the main story, that moment when the call comes in and it's either follow your orders or put the controller down was genius. After all, could you be the one to surrender first, or would you just go straight to killing your friend while they're still thinking it through? Number 6. Weighing the needs of the few. Papers, Please. Don't let these vintage graphics fool you. Papers, Please will get inside your mind in the most relatable and affecting of ways and then stay there. Placing you in the shoes of a border agent deciding who can come into the glorious nation of Arstotzka, gameplay consists of majority innocent people coming to your booth and presenting their case for asylum, only for your anonymous rubber stamp to determine their ultimate fate. The genius of the game comes in the constant balancing act of trying to appease your government oppressors by way of processing as many people as possible so that you get paid enough to afford medicine and food for your family, as well as keeping your personal morals in check. The real kicker is after a few in-game shifts. With you starting to get used to how things work, a middle-aged couple arrives where one has their papers in order and the other does not. Do you take the financial hit, a potential third strike of the day just to let a wife pass through illegally with her begging husband, or do you separate them, quote-unquote safe in the knowledge that you were just doing your job? Papers, Please is one of the many landmark titles from recent years that proves games can offer experiences available in no other medium. Number 5. The Suicide Mission. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 remains, at least for me, in the top 3 of the 7th generation, the other 2 games being at least Red Dead Redemption 1 and something else that you can add down in the comments. For the Suicide Mission itself, you'll have spent literal days of game time around a cast of genuinely lovable characters, embarking on one last Hail Mary challenge against some unsurmountable odds. Before this mission became legend and more talked about, playing through it for the first time had all of us thinking, no, there's no way they're gonna let absolutely everybody die. Surely somehow we'll be able to make it out alive. Turned out though, everyone including Commander Shepard can die, and unless you're following a guide, they just will. BioWare were absolutely ruthless portraying this final mission, and should your supplies not be in full order or those Thanix cannons not fitted, amongst a raft of other elements that can drastically affect the outcome, literally everybody can pop their collective clogs. As well as preparation being key, there are choices on mission where you must choose who to pair up with and send down certain paths. Pre-scripted deaths await those who are not supposed to go down these routes, but obviously you're not aware of that first time through. In my personal experience, I lost the Salarian soprano himself, Mordin Solus, to a stray bullet, watching him attempt to close a door behind us only to get taken out. This meant that I lost out on Mordin's entire genophage curing finale from Mass Effect 3, and whilst those scenes are incredible, providing you don't go renegade and shoot him in the back, I'll always applaud BioWare for such risky and memorable narrative structuring. Number 4. How would you like to lose a finger? Heavy Rain. David Cage's love letter to David Fincher also took the time out to channel a little bit of Saw while he was on. Before Heavy Rain has you deciding whether or not to shoot a seemingly innocent father to appease the person holding your son hostage, the big first test is choosing an implement to remove a portion of your own finger. Although many, and I do stress many people, never fully got on board with Heavy Rain whatsoever due to its laughably off-putting voice acting, personally speaking, I loved this game the whole way through. For this scene itself, everything is on the table both literally and metaphorically. You're free as Father Ethan to get up and walk out the room if you want, but this will doom your son Sean almost immediately. It's blatantly obvious that you need to go through this choose your own torture scene, picking from a pair of scissors, a cleaver, a pair of pliers, and more, doing all this dirty work in front of a camera that's linked to the killer themselves. All of this is disgustingly cringeworthy stuff, but honestly I would take way more big budget projects channeling Fincher in video game form. Number 3. Ash or Josh. Until Dawn. No, this isn't What Culture Gaming the game, but instead something that should have been exactly what Saw's movie tie-in was aiming for. Seriously, although the Saw game was surprisingly solid and enjoyable, part of the appeal of those movies was always trying to imagine what you might do in one of those horrific torture situations. In Until Dawn's case, that's asking character Chris to choose between the girl he's trying to cozy up with or his best friend. Even better, no matter what you pick, the game pilots the buzzsaw directly at Josh anyway, for a repercussion that doesn't show itself until much later. Either way, although I'm not calling for a ton of uber gory fare to fill up digital shelves, if we ever get another crack at the Saw franchise, do it way more like this. Number 2. Playboy X or Dwayne. Grand Theft Auto 4. Derek or Francis, Kate or Roman, Playboy X or Dwayne. GTA 4 saw Rockstar introduce moral choices to their work, and it's the latter that always gets people talking. With Playboy X, you have the archetypal young blood making their way into a world of crime, full of cocksure swagger and coming with a pool table equipped house that you can own if you decide to kill him. On the other side is Dwayne, an older gangster who survived that life, having been through and seen way too much, now searching for a sense of purpose and belonging. Though base gameplay reward says you should go for the condo, Dwayne has warmed to Nico as a fellow dog of war. Choosing to confront him pistol in hand provides a cutscene where Dwayne realizes even the last person left in his life that he thought he could trust is now trying to kill him for more cash. And number 1, killing your new best friend. The Walking Dead Season 2. Now, it might be because I'm a huge animal lover, or it might be because no part of me whatsoever saw this coming, but the section in Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 1 where your once loyal canine suddenly goes feral and you're forced to stab it over and over to try and survive is genuinely the most harrowing thing I've ever played in a game ever. Granted, there is the scene with Duck in Season 1 which had a certain finality and silence to it, but for Clem, who honestly I cared about more anyway, she was now out on her own, with everybody else either having left or died. Finding a dog companion is the only thing helping her deal with Lee's death, and the only ray of hope in such a bleak season opener. The immediately visceral nature this encounter has, alongside the sudden tonal switch from sharing your food only for a combat section to come out of nowhere, really encapsulated the world of The Walking Dead perfectly. And in my case, it left a big old gaming life scar. And those are my picks for the most harrowing choices we just had to make if you want to continue playing the game. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below, and please check out the What Culture Gaming podcast. Myself, Jules, and Josh put together 2 additional shows only available if you subscribe, so please do. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.